In a world drowning in noise and distraction, where most chase comfort and run from discomfort, there lived long before us a man who did the opposite. He didn't seek to escape pain, nor did he obsess over praise, riches, or status. He lived with one singular aim: to be good, not just in the eyes of others, but in the eyes of his own conscience. He was the most powerful man in the world, and yet he feared only one thing: to fall short of his own moral standard. This man was Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, from 161 to 180 AD, the last of the so-called five good emperors. During his reign, the Roman Empire experienced a period of relative peace, known as the Pax Romana. When Marcus died, that peace ended. He had led an empire, commanded armies, held the lives of millions in his hands, and still he wrote to himself in the quiet hours of the night, not as a ruler speaking to his people, but as a man holding himself accountable. Those writings became what we now know as meditations. The idea of being a great man is often vague, sometimes even meaningless. But if there was ever someone who earned the title through action, reflection, and restraint, it was Marcus. This isn't a self-help story, and Meditations wasn't a self-help book. It wasn't even a book at all. It was his journal, never intended for any eyes but his own. And yet, across time, across centuries of war, change, and decay, his words have remained. That's the power of Stoic philosophy, not in loud declarations, but in quiet, personal truths. Imagine this: you're the emperor of the known world. Every earthly pleasure is within reach. Wine, sex, gold, power, adoration. Most emperors before Marcus indulged in every one of these, often to ruin. It was expected. Their lives were defined by decadence. But Marcus, he said no. Every day for 19 years he chose virtue, not for applause, not for legacy, just because it was right. He didn't merely resist temptation once he faced it daily, without consequence, and still denied it. That's not just discipline, that's identity. Now ask yourself, if you had that kind of power and no one to stop you, what would you do? Could you live 19 years of daily self-restraint with nothing but your own integrity to guide you? Most of us couldn't. I know I couldn't. That's why Marcus stands apart. His greatness didn't emerge when the world was watching, it showed when no one was, when he could have indulged, and instead he wrote, reflecting, guiding himself. Meditations isn't organized, and that's what makes it honest. It's messy, raw, and often contradictory. It's Marcus navigating his own mind, an emperor wrestling with self-doubt, duty, death, and compassion. And still, despite being written only for himself, it stands as one of the most powerful expressions of character ever put to paper. If you haven't read it, you should. You'll find it in almost every library and bookstore in the world. But even if you never open a copy, there are a few truths from it worth holding close. Marcus believed we are meant to live in accordance with nature. Nature to him wasn't just trees and animals, it was the entire order of existence. Trees grow not because they want praise, but because that's what they are made to do. A caterpillar becomes a butterfly, not to be admired, but because it must. In the same way, humans by nature are made to be virtuous, kind, rational. That's our function, that's our design, and failing to live up to it, that's the real tragedy. But Stoic philosophy doesn't just stop at potential, it demands action. For Marcus, living well wasn't about status or recognition. It was about fulfilling the role you were born for fully and faithfully. You don't control what happens around you, you only control your choices. And your greatest power lies in your ability to remain anchored, to meet the storm with calm, to face insult without rage, to carry yourself with dignity, when the world gives you every reason not to, even when faced with wicked or cruel people. And he faced plenty. Marcus didn't fall into resentment. He reminded himself evil exists just like thorns on a vine. It's natural. There's no sense in wishing it away. Instead, he believed that when people acted wrongly, it was usually out of ignorance. And that's a central pillar of Stoic philosophy, meeting foolishness with patience, not contempt. When he was wronged, he didn't ask, "Why are they like this?" Instead, he asked himself, "Haven't I too made mistakes? Don't I also have flaws?" And he did. He admitted them freely. In different conversations on different days, Marcus could be the one who didn't understand. So he extended grace not because it was easy, but because it was right. Over and over again, he reminded himself that we were born for each other. Trees grow fruit so animals may eat. Animals die so others may live. And we as people exist to help one another, not just when it's convenient, not just when it feels good, but always. That he believed was our duty, and failing to fulfill that was the only real failure. Adversity, too, was no surprise to him. Pain, misfortune, betrayal, these weren't errors in the system. They were the system. Life brings trials. That's part of the human condition. Marcus never begged for ease. He prepared for difficulty. He trained his mind not to collapse under pressure, but to rise in the midst of it. When suffering came, he didn't curse the sky. He bore it with quiet strength. He wrote to himself, "Bear it like a man." And if something truly unbearable ever did arrive, he reminded himself, "Many men have died before you. Just don't die complaining." He was rich beyond imagination, but he didn't worship wealth. He didn't shame it either. He simply saw it clearly. Money, objects, pleasures, they're fine, but they don't make you good. They don't fulfill your purpose. Marcus told himself, don't dream of possessions. Instead, dream of character. Reflect on what you have, value it, but never depend on it. If it's taken away tomorrow, remain whole, because your worth lies in who you are, not what you hold. Of course, Marcus thought often about death, not in fear, but in preparation. Death, he wrote, is natural. It is assigned to us just like life. It is no enemy, it is our final responsibility. While you're here, live, be kind, be just, do what you were made to do, and then when the time comes, let go, because death too is a part of living in accordance with nature. That's the thread running through Stoic philosophy, a belief that pleasure is fleeting, but happiness true, happiness is enduring. It doesn't come from fame, riches, or success. It doesn't even come from being emperor. It comes from doing your duty, from living a life of virtue, from becoming all that you were meant to become. You were not made to coast. You were not made to consume endlessly, chase endlessly, or compare endlessly. You were made to live with courage, to serve others, and to stand strong in the face of chaos. The only thing worth fearing is becoming less than what you were made to be. So start there. Live with clarity, live with purpose, live like Marcus. If this message stirred something in you, if it reminded you of the strength you already carry, but sometimes forget, then let that be your first step. Apply even one lesson today. Choose virtue over impulse, patience over pride, action over complaint. And if you want more reflections like this, more quiet strength in a loud world, subscribe to the channel. This isn't just about Stoic philosophy. It's about becoming the kind of person you were born to be. Steady, clear, unshakable. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin.